The Hall of Stars was full of light and sound. 1,000 glowing orbs floated above the heads of the guests. Long flags from every alien world hung from the tall silver columns. The air smelled of sweet spices, strange flowers, and fresh metal. This was the choosing ceremony, a rare event where powerful alien kingdoms offered their royal daughters to form alliances through bond pairing. But this time, the ceremony was different. For the first time in history, a human had been invited to join. His name was Rian, and he stood calmly in front of the throne circle. He wore a plain black suit with silver threads. His brown boots were clean but not fancy. Compared to the tall and colorful nobles around him, Rian looked simple, but his eyes were sharp, and he studied everything with quiet care. The high speaker of the conclave, a tall Veyari noble with glowing blue skin, stepped forward. "Honored delegates," the speaker said, "the human has been welcomed into our circle. As is tradition, he may choose from among the royal daughters to form a unity bond in peace and honor." The crowd watched silently. The princesses were lined up on a wide platform in the center of the hall. Each stood proudly, dressed in the traditional robes of their people. The first was Princess Raxa of the Garoon, a giant, stone-skinned warrior who had won 10 battle honors before her 20th year. Her arms were as thick as tree trunks. Her crown was carved from volcanic rock. Next was Princess Villani of the Veyari, who could move objects with her mind and speak 10 languages at once. Her silver hair floated like mist, and her eyes glowed like starlight. Then came Princess Sulai of the Jur, whose body shimmered with heat. Fire danced along her fingers as she stood, quiet and deadly. She was known for commanding fleets with perfect skill. Finally, at the very end of the line, almost out of sight, stood a quiet girl in a soft green dress. Her name was Lyra, Princess of the Thari. She was small, much smaller than the others. Her skin was a pale shade of violet, and her hair fell in long, smooth waves down her back. Her hands were folded in front of her, and her eyes looked down, not forward. The Thari were a peaceful people. They had no armies, no great ships, no powerful technology. They were known for farming, music, and keeping old stories. Many nobles believed they had nothing to offer. Some had even asked why Lyra was allowed to stand there at all. But rules were rules. Every kingdom had the right to send a princess. The hall waited. Rian took one slow step forward. Then another. He passed Princess Raxa. The Garoon warriors tensed, expecting him to stop. He didn't. He passed Princess Villani. The Veyari delegates raised their brows in surprise. He kept walking. He passed Princess Sulai. Even the Jur guards looked confused now, and then he stopped, right in front of Lyra. The crowd froze. Lyra blinked. Her lips parted slightly. She looked up, confused. Her voice was small. Do you mean to stand before me?" she asked. Rian gave a small smile. "Yes. But I am not strong," she said softly. "I have no power. I am not even first. In my court." "That's not what I see," Rian said simply. He turned toward the high speaker. "I make my choice," he said clearly. "I choose Princess Lyra of the Thari." The hall exploded in murmurs. Gasps and laughter echoed through the chamber. Some nobles frowned. Some whispered behind gloved hands. One of the Jur guards actually dropped his staff. Lyra stood still, frozen like a bird in sudden light. "But why?" Someone in the crowd called out. Rian only bowed to Lyra, then offered his hand. She hesitated. Her fingers trembled slightly. Then, slowly, she placed her hand in his. The high speaker nodded. "The bond is made." And just like that, the ceremony ended. After the event, The news spread quickly across the galaxy. Human chooses weakest princess. Political mistake or secret plan? Did the human misunderstand our ways? Ryan ignored the headlines. He sat quietly in his assigned quarters, reading through ancient digital scrolls and old conclave laws. His eyes moved fast, his mind even faster. Lyra entered the room silently. She still wore her green dress, though her crown had been removed. She looked around nervously. "You really chose me?" she said quietly. "Yes," Ryan said. He didn't look up from his screen. "Why?" He paused. Then he looked at her with calm eyes. "I don't believe in power the way others do," he said. "I don't need a warrior. I don't need a ruler. I need someone who understands what others forget." She tilted her head. "And what is that?" "That sometimes the smallest voice holds the oldest truth." Lyra looked away, her cheeks slightly flushed. She didn't know what to say. No one had ever looked at her that way before. The palace of the Galactic Conclave was always busy, but today the air felt heavier than usual. Servants moved faster. Advisors whispered more quietly. Doors were closed a little harder. Eyes turned every time Ryan or Lyra passed. The choosing. Ceremony was over, but the real talk had just begun. In the high towers, nobles from powerful worlds met in secret rooms. One Veyari elder clicked his fingers, causing a floating screen to appear. He chose her, the weakest one. The Garoon general beside him grunted. A poor choice. Humans must be simple-minded. Or foolish, said Azure noble with glowing red eyes. They all laughed. But far from those meetings, Ryan and Lyra sat in a quiet garden surrounded by soft blue trees and small singing stones. It was a hidden place between two towers, easy to miss unless you were looking. Lyra sat on a smooth bench, her hands folded in her lap. She looked at the strange human beside her. "You don't care what they say?" she asked. "No," Ryan said. "They think you made a mistake." "I know. They say I am unworthy. I don't believe that." Lyra looked down at her feet. "I don't understand you." "That's okay," Ryan said gently. "Most people don't. Not at first." He stood up and walked toward a tree with small glowing fruits. He picked one and rolled it in his palm. "I've been watching this galaxy for a long time. I've read about every empire, every war, every alliance. And yet, you chose Thari," she said. "Yes." "Why?" Ryan turned and looked at her seriously. "Because everyone else is fighting to be strong, but no one is trying to be wise. Your people remember things others have forgotten. That matters." Lyra didn't answer, but something inside her, something soft and unsure, began to stir. That evening, they were invited to a formal dinner hosted by the Conclave Council. Long silver tables were filled with food from across the galaxy. Floating candles gave the room a soft glow. The princesses from the choosing ceremony were there too. Princess Raxa of the Garoon sat beside her father, a massive warrior king with armor made from mountain stone. Princess Vellani of the Veyari floated slightly above her seat, glowing softly as her advisors whispered in her ears. Princess Sulai of the Jur sat with a calm face, her fingers quietly spinning a small flame for fun. Lyra walked in beside Ryan, wearing a soft white dress with green patterns. She looked simple compared to the others, but peaceful, like a quiet river. As they sat, many eyes turned toward them. "Look," one noble whispered, "the human and his delicate bird. Maybe he likes her songs," another laughed. But Ryan ignored them. He smiled and poured water for Lyra first. An older noble across the table leaned forward. "Human," he said loudly. Is it true your kind values heart over power? Ryan took a sip from his glass. Not always. But we're learning. Then why didn't you choose a warrior? The Garoon general asked. Because warriors already have followers, Ryan replied calmly. They don't need me. The room grew quiet. A few heads turned. Lyra's eyes widened just a little. And the Thari? The Jur noble asked. They deserve to lead again, but no one listens. I do. No one spoke for a moment. Even the soft music in the room seemed to lower. Then Raxa snorted. Strange. Way to make a bond. Perhaps, Rian said with a polite smile, but strange things often change history. Later that night, Lyra sat in her chamber, brushing her hair slowly. She looked into the mirror and saw a girl she had always known. Quiet, small, unnoticed. But now people were watching her, and they were whispering. Some laughed, some doubted, some were angry, but they were watching. She wasn't invisible anymore. She stood and walked to her table. A glowing box sat there. Inside were old memory stones from her people, songs, stories, and symbols passed down for generations. She opened one. A soft melody filled the room. The voices of the old Thari echoed. Gently, Ryan knocked once before entering. Sorry, he said. Just wanted to ask something. Lyra turned down the sound and nodded. I've been reading about the Thari language, he said. It's based on patterns, right? Like sound and shape combined? She looked surprised. Yes, but it's forgotten by most. Even my people have stopped using the old forms. But you still know it? A little, Ryan smiled. Then maybe you can teach me. She blinked. You want to learn? Yes. Why? Because your people don't just speak words. They speak meaning. That's powerful. Lyra looked at him for a long time. No one has ever asked to learn Thari songs. Then I'll be the first. A soft silence passed between them. Then she smiled. Small, but real. Far above the palace, in a secret meeting room, the Garoon, Jur, and Veyari leaders met again. This human is not what we expected, Vellani's advisor said. He's not interested in strength, said the Jur noble. He looks for roots. That makes him dangerous, growled the Garoon general. What do we do? Asked one. The Veyari noble narrowed his glowing eyes. We watch, and we wait. He is planning something. They all nodded in the dim light. Below them, Ryan and Lyra sat side by side, studying old Thari symbols together. She sang a soft melody, and he copied it slowly, matching her tone. She laughed once when he got it wrong, and he smiled. The girl, who was once seen as the weakest, was now the key to a language almost lost. And the human who chose her? He was just getting started. The conclave archives were quiet and cold. Rows upon rows of metal shelves held records and relics from every world in the galaxy. Some were small scrolls of light, others thick books made from strange materials. Few people came here anymore. But Ryan and Lyra moved with purpose. The soft light from Ryan's datapad lit their way as they searched through ancient texts. This place is amazing, Lyra said softly, touching a glowing blue book. Our people have stories here, but so few read them. Ryan nodded. Your culture is older than most in this room. That means you have knowledge others lost. They stopped in front of a small alcove hidden behind a dusty curtain. A fragile scroll lay inside, carefully wrapped in a cloth that shimmered with faint light. Lyra's hands trembled slightly as she picked it up. The symbols were unlike anything the others had seen. This is old Thari, she said quietly. No one reads this anymore. Ryan looked over her shoulder. Can you translate? Lyra nodded. I will try. She began reading aloud, her voice low and musical. Thari were once the guardians of peace. They shared their knowledge freely, language, art, science, with all races. Their songs were keys to power, keys to unlock ancient technology that could shape worlds. Ryan's eyes widened. Technology? Hidden technology? Lyra continued. But as warriors grew strong, they feared the Thari's influence. The old songs were banned, the keys were lost, the Thari were pushed aside, forgotten. Ryan's mind raced. If we can find this technology, he said, it could change everything. Lyra looked up at him. You believe this? I do, but only if we work together. She smiled faintly. Together, they studied the scroll deeper. The writing was not just words. It was a code, a pattern of sounds and shapes woven like a song. Ryan ran his fingers over the symbols. This might be a form of communication, maybe even a way to control machines. Lyra's eyes shone with hope. The more they read, the clearer it became. The Thari language was not just for speaking. It was a tool, a secret key left behind by an ancient, peaceful civilization. They spent hours decoding the meanings. As the night grew late, Ryan looked at Lyra and said, Your people are not weak. They are powerful in ways others forgot. Lyra felt a new strength growing inside her, a quiet confidence that came from knowing her heritage was special. The next day, Ryan and Lyra met with the Conclave's Technology Council. The room was filled with scientists, engineers, and strategists from many worlds. Ryan spoke first. We have found something important, he said, holding up a copy of the ancient scroll. Lyra translated the key parts. The Thari language contains instructions. If we use these, we can unlock old machines hidden across the galaxy. The council members exchanged surprised looks. One elder, a gray-skinned engineer from the Veyari, leaned forward. This is incredible, she said. But these machines are lost. Do you know where to find them? Ryan nodded. We believe there are places still waiting to be discovered. Ancient Thari outposts, forgotten temples, maybe even ships buried under planets. Lyra added, but we will need help decoding the songs and unlocking the codes. The council murmured with interest. The chief strategist asked, What is your plan? Ryan smiled. First, we learn more about the language. We teach it to others. Then we find the machines and awaken them, not to fight, but to rebuild. The room was silent for a moment. Then the elder engineer spoke again. This could change the balance of power, she said carefully. Or it could bring peace, Ryan replied. Outside the council chambers, whispers spread quickly. The human and the Thari princess are working together? The weak princess is suddenly a key to lost technology? Some laughed, but others watched closely. In the quiet halls of the palace, Lyra walked with new purpose. She was no longer just a quiet girl at the end of the line. She was a bearer of secrets. That evening, Ryan and Lyra returned to the garden where they first spoke. Lyra played a soft melody on her small flute-like instrument. Ryan listened closely. This music, he said, it's more than beautiful. It's part of the code, isn't it? Yes, she said. Each note opens a part of the language. Ryan closed his eyes and hummed a few notes back. Lyra smiled. You're learning fast. He laughed softly. I want to understand your world, and I want to understand yours, she replied. Together, they dreamed of a future where their peoples could share wisdom instead of fighting. Meanwhile, in the darker corners of the galaxy, the powerful races were uneasy. The Garoon warlord spoke with his generals. This human is dangerous, he growled. He does not fight like us. The Veyari spy reported, he uses knowledge and words. He builds alliances we cannot break. The Zur commander added, we must watch carefully. The weakest princess may hold the greatest power. but none could predict what would come next. Days passed, and Ryan sent messages to Earth and other human worlds. His voice was calm but firm. "We are discovering things that can help all life in the galaxy. We must be patient. We must work together." Back on Earth, people watched the news with hope. A human was leading a new way, one not of war, but of understanding. In the conclave, Lyra's confidence grew. She spoke in meetings, sharing ideas, based on the ancient songs. Her voice was still soft, but stronger now. More and more people began to listen. One day, Ryan said to her, "You are ready." "Ready for what?" she asked. "To help lead this new path." She looked at him with wide eyes. "I never imagined. But with you, I believe it is possible." Ryan smiled. "Together we can bring back the future your people dreamed of." As the stars twinkled outside the palace windows, a new song began, a song of hope, knowledge, and peace. The weakest princess was no longer weak. She was a key, and the human who chose her was ready to open the door. The next morning, the conclave announced a special mission. It was a test, a chance for all the worlds to see if the old Thari knowledge was more than just stories. Ryan and Lyra stood together in the grand hall, listening to the high speakers. Announcement. "The conclave has decided," the blue-skinned Vayari said, "to send a team to explore a newly discovered Thari outpost on the distant planet Kessera. This outpost may hold the ancient machines mentioned in the scrolls." The hall buzzed with excitement. Many eyes turned to Ryan and Lyra. "You will lead this mission," the high speaker said, pointing to them. Ryan nodded calmly. Lyra swallowed, her nervousness, but stood tall beside him. "This is a great opportunity," Ryan said softly to her. "We will prove that the old ways still hold power." Lyra smiled faintly. The journey to Kessera was long. Their ship moved faster than most, powered by human engines combined with some Thari designs. On board, the team was a mix of experts from many worlds: engineers, linguists, soldiers, and scientists. Some watched Ryan and Lyra with suspicion. Others were curious. Lyra felt nervous, but excited. She spent her time practicing the old songs with Ryan, hoping they would unlock secrets once again. When they reached Kessera, the planet was a cold, rocky world with deep canyons and swirling dust storms. The outpost lay hidden inside a large cave covered in strange symbols glowing faintly blue. As they entered, the air felt heavy with history. Walls were lined with machines, their purpose unknown. Ryan and Lyra moved carefully, studying the symbols. "These are instructions," Lyra said, her voice quiet. Ryan added, "And I think the songs can activate the machines." The team worked together. Lyra sang a melody, soft and slow. The machines responded. Lights blinked, panels moved. Suddenly, a large door began to open, revealing a hidden chamber filled with strange devices. The scientists gasped. "This is incredible," one said. This technology could help many worlds, but not everyone was pleased. From the shadows, a group of armed soldiers from a rival kingdom watched silently. They did not want the power of the Thari to return. Back inside the chamber, Ryan and Lyra found a small device shaped like a glowing crystal. "It looks like a key," Ryan said. Lyra reached out, and as she touched it, the device hummed with light. Suddenly, a holographic map appeared, showing many other outposts scattered across the galaxy. "This is a network," Ryan said. "A system built by the Thari." Lyra's eyes widened. "If we can activate more of these, we could rebuild what was lost." The team cheered, but the rival soldiers stepped forward, weapons raised. "You cannot take this technology," their leader warned. "It belongs to us." Ryan stepped forward, his voice steady. "This knowledge belongs to all who seek peace." The Yao leader laughed. "We will see." A tense moment passed. Then Lyra sang a strong, clear note. The machines around them reacted. Shields rose, lights flashed, and a soft pulse filled the room. The rival soldiers hesitated, surprised by the power of the song. Ryan moved quickly. "We don't want to fight," he said, "but we will protect this discovery." The soldiers slowly lowered their weapons. After a long pause, the leader nodded. "We will watch," he said. "But this is only the beginning." After the confrontation, the team gathered around the holographic map. Ryan pointed to many glowing points. "We have work to do," he said. "We must visit these outposts, learn their secrets, and share the knowledge." Lyra smiled, feeling stronger than ever. Together, they began planning their next journey. Back on the ship, late at night, Lyra sat beside Ryan. "Do you think the other kingdoms will accept this?" she asked quietly. Ryan looked at her. "Some will fight. Some will join. But the future depends on those willing to listen." Lyra nodded. She had changed. The weakest princess was now a leader, and with Ryan by her side, she believed they could bring peace to the galaxy. The stars outside the ship were like small diamonds in a black sea as Ryan, Lyra, and their team prepared to visit the next outpost on the holographic map. Each glowing point was a chance to unlock more of the Thari's ancient technology, or a risk to fall into enemy hands. "Where to first?" asked Sola, the Veyari engineer, looking at the map with interest. Ryan pointed to a blue dot near a gas giant. "This one. It is close and the data shows a stable environment. We can land safely." Lyra nodded. "We must move carefully. Others will want the power we seek." The team worked together to prepare. Soldiers checked their gear, scientists reviewed the scans, and Lyra practiced her songs, hoping to unlock new machines. As they neared the planet, a shadow crossed their sensors. A small fleet of ships was approaching fast. "Hostile vessels," warned the ship's captain. Ryan's eyes narrowed. "Prepare for defense, but don't attack unless we must." The ships moved closer, and a message came through. "This is Commander Jirak of the Jour Dominion," the voice said coldly. "Turn back. This technology is forbidden to outsiders." Ryan replied firmly. "We seek knowledge to bring peace, not war. We ask for a chance to prove it." Jirak laughed. "Peace? A human and a weak princess? You are fools." The enemy fleet fired warning shots near their ship. Ryan ordered, "Raise shields! Stay ready!" The team felt the tension rise. Lyra closed her eyes and began to sing softly, a calming melody. The ship's systems responded, becoming more stable. "Your songs affect the machines," Sola said in wonder. "Thari language is more than words," Lyra explained. "It is a connection. Jirak's fleet didn't attack again, but kept a close watch." Ryan sent a message back. "We will not fight, but we will not run either." After hours of careful negotiation, the Jour ships finally retreated. "We will continue," Ryan said to the team, "but this is only the beginning of the challenges." The team landed on the planet's surface, a rocky world with blue skies and strange plants glowing softly at night. The outpost lay hidden inside a cave network. As they explored, they found machines dormant for centuries. Lyra sang again, and panels lit up, revealing maps and instructions. One device showed a map of the galaxy's energy flows, how power moved between worlds. "This could help us build better energy systems," Sola said excitedly. Ryan nodded. "It will change how we live." But their work was not without danger. Deep inside the cave, traps triggered by ancient sensors began to activate. Ryan quickly led the team through, using Lyra's songs to deactivate the systems. Their bond grew stronger. They were no longer just explorers. They were guardians of a lost legacy. Back at the Conclave, news of their mission spread quickly. Some praised the human and princess for bravery. Others warned against trusting them. Princess Raxa, once a rival, sent a message. "Do not forget who holds the real power," she said coldly. Rian replied, "True power is in knowledge and unity." The message was shared across the council chambers. One night, Lyra found Ryan in the garden. "Do you think they will ever accept us?" she asked softly. Ryan looked at the stars. "Some will, some won't. But we must keep trying." Lyra smiled. "Thank you for choosing me." Rion reached out and took her hand. "You are not weak. You are the future." Together they looked toward the stars, ready for whatever came next. The calm after the mission on Kasara lasted only a few days. The galaxy's political winds began to shift, and darker forces started moving in the shadows. Ryan and Lyra had returned to the Conclave with new knowledge and new hope, but not everyone welcomed it. In the halls of power, whispers of fear and suspicion grew louder. The Garoon warlord, a giant figure from the Outer Rim, sat in his war room surrounded by his generals. "The human and the princess are stirring the old powers," he growled. "If we let them unlock the Thari machines, we will lose control of the galaxy." His generals nodded, faces grim. "We must stop them," one said, "before it is too late." The warlord's eyes shone with cold fire. "Prepare a strike team. Silent and fast. They will find the human and princess and end this before it begins." Meanwhile, Ryan and Lyra were busy preparing for their next mission. The new knowledge they had gained was powerful, but it came with risks. Lyra sat in the palace garden, practicing the ancient songs. Ryan approached quietly. "You seem worried," he said gently. "I am," she admitted. "Not everyone will want us to succeed. Some will try to destroy what we build." Rion nodded. "We will be ready." Their fears soon became real. Late one night, alarms echoed through the palace. Ryan and Lyra rushed to the command center. "The Garoon strike team has infiltrated the palace," the captain said urgently. "They want to capture the princess." Ryan's heart pounded. "We must protect her." The palace guards moved quickly, but the attackers were skilled and hidden. Ryan and Lyra worked with the security team, using the Thari songs to activate defense systems. Walls shifted, creating barriers. Lights flashed, confusing the intruders. Lyra's voice rose in a powerful melody, and the ancient machines responded. The attackers struggled to move forward. One by one, the guards pushed back the strike team. The leader of the Garoon forces cursed and ordered a retreat. After the attack, the conclave met to discuss the growing threat. "We cannot let this continue," the High Speaker said. "We must unite against those who fear progress." Ryan stood and addressed the council. "We seek peace and knowledge, not war. But we will defend what is right." Lyra added, "The Thari legacy is a gift for all. We must protect it together." The room filled with nods and murmurs of agreement. Some old rivals looked thoughtful. Could the weak princess and the human really change the galaxy? Back in her chambers, Lyra sat quietly. Ryan came to sit beside her. "Do you regret trusting me?" he asked softly. Lyra smiled. "No. Together, we are stronger." He took her hand. "We will face whatever comes. Together." The next mission was to the planet Viridian, home to one of the largest Thari outposts. As they approached, sensors picked up another fleet, this time from the Jour Dominion, led by Commander Jirak. "Prepare for possible conflict," Rion ordered. The Jour ships did not attack, but blocked their way. Jirak's voice came again. "We will not allow you to take Thari power," Ryan replied. "We will not stop until the knowledge is shared with all." Tension filled the space between the fleets. Suddenly, the Thari machines on Viridian activated themselves. Bright beams of light connected the ships and the planet. The ancient technology was awakening. Jirak looked surprised. Ryan smiled. "This is not just power. It is connection." As the fleets watched, the light spread, reaching out to other points on the map. The galaxy was waking up from a long sleep, and the weak princess, chosen for reasons no one understood before, was leading the way. The light from the Thari machines on Viridian stretched far across the stars, connecting outposts, ships, and planets. It was a quiet power, not one of war, but of unity. Ryan and Lyra watched from the bridge of their ship as the energy spread, like a web bringing life back to lost technology. Around them, the other members of the team were busy coordinating messages and plans. This was the moment they had worked for, the beginning of a new era. Lyra looked at Ryan. "Do you think this is really possible? That we can change the galaxy like this?" Ryan smiled gently. "It won't be easy, but yes, I believe we can. Because we are not alone anymore." She nodded, feeling the truth in his words. Their journey had started with doubt, but now hope was growing everywhere. Back on Earth, people watched news reports with wide eyes. The human who had traveled to the stars was leading a mission unlike any other. A mission to bring peace and knowledge where there had only been suspicion and fear. Scientists, politicians, and citizens alike discussed the possibility of working with alien races, sharing discoveries, and ending endless conflicts. In the conclave, the atmosphere had changed. Where once there was doubt, now there was cautious optimism. Rion and Lyra stood before the council, showing the glowing map of activated Thari outposts. "This is just the beginning," Rion said. "We have the chance to rebuild what was lost, to share knowledge, to grow stronger together." Lyra stepped forward, her voice steady. "The Thari legacy is a gift for all. We must use it wisely and kindly." Many in the room nodded. Some still held their doubts, but more than before, they listened. Not everyone was happy. The Garoon warlord and the Jur commanders watched from their strongholds, planning and waiting, but even they could not deny the change sweeping the galaxy. In Datiwa, the weeks that followed, the team visited more outposts, activating machines and sharing knowledge. Energy grids were rebuilt, medicines improved, and new communication systems were created. With each success, trust grew between the different worlds. Ryan and Lyra became symbols of hope, not because of their strength or power, but because of their courage to choose peace. One evening, as the stars glittered overhead, Ryan and Lyra stood together on a quiet hill outside the city. Lyra smiled softly. "I never thought I would be here. Not as a leader, not as someone people believe in." Ryan looked at her warmly. "You have always had that inside. You just needed a reason to believe." She took his hand. "Thank you for seeing me, not as weak, but as important." He squeezed her hand gently. "Because you are." The galaxy was not perfect. Challenges would come, and some would resist. But the future was brighter. Together, a human and an alien princess had started a new dawn, one where knowledge, kindness, and hope could lead the way.